one of the most iconic Aussie bands ever.
Icehouse gave us an Aussie anthem like no other. They dominated from the late 70s right through to the 90s, with global smash hits. And some seriously sexy mullets. Next year, the band celebrates 40 years of performing live, and that saxophone is sounding as good as ever. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome none other than Icehouse frontman himself, Iva Davies.
Before we talk music, Farnsey gets a lot of credit for his mullet over the years, but I mean, you know, there hasn't been a stronger mullet than that one.
My headmaster forbade us to grow long hair, and I've been paying ever since.
Is that what it was?
That was. Yeah.
40 years of performing live is quite a feat. Did you ever sort of imagine that you'd be going that long?
Well, I certainly couldn't imagine that, next year we'll be playing to something in the order of 110, 120, 130, 140,000 people. Yeah. This is just sales so far of this little tour that we're doing, so I couldn't have dreamt that.
Yeah. Amazing. I mean, it was just listening to the songs today, we were playing them over and over again, some amazing ones.
We're just listening to you sing them.
Yeah. I know.
We're listening to you play them on your phone.
Team player. Don't make me sing them now, whatever you do. Great Southern Land has to be one of the best songs ever, and I hear it and I think of Australia Day, I think of barbecues. I mean, did you ever imagine that it would be sort of immortalised in that way?
I had absolutely no. It's such a mystery, that song, and it was. I can kind of get the fact that we went on our first international tour. I got incredibly homesick, and the first song I wrote when I came home was that song. Oh. And I thought, OK, this is one of 10 songs I've got to write, and I took it to the managers, and the managers' eyes lit up, and the record company's eyes lit up, and people reacted in a way that I didn't see coming
Where
at
did the
all.
Southern Land line come from?
Well, I truly believe that I invented that expression. I know the Dutch used to refer it as the Great Southland. Yeah. And I wanted to, if I was going to take on this song about this country, I wanted to find a new way to describe it. And I thought I invented. I'd never heard those three words put together.
You talked about touring internationally. You toured with David Bowie at one point. What was that like?
It was massive for a start. It's certainly his biggest tour by far. He'd finally cracked North America, had a #1 record all over the world, and we were playing to, on average, 70,000 people each show. And when you play on a hill to 70,000 people, you actually can't see where they finish. It's quite amazing. And of course, got to spend a little bit of time with him. But he was, it was such a big tour that he couldn't go anywhere without being absolutely mobbed. Yeah. And there was a time we went out to a little tiny bar in Rotterdam, and it seemed like minutes, the place was full of people, so full it was dangerous, and we actually had to be passed out over people's heads to get out of there in one piece. It was actually quite terrifying.
In 1986, 87, I was in like grade 5 and grade 6, and the albums that came out, the Australian albums, were like In Excess Kick, Blow Your Cool by Hoodoo Gurus, Crowded House's debut album, Man of Colours,
Diesel and Dust, Midnight Oil.
Diesel and Dust, Midnight Oil. Like, that was a golden time for Australian music.
It was, but it had been a long time in the kind of development, I think, because we started playing in the late 70s, I guess, around about the same time as most of those bands did. And so we'd been kind of banging away at all these live performing and all of these, every beer barn in Australia and whatever. And by then, each of those bands were up to about their 4th album, so they'd finally worked out how to get it right. So it was kind of not really an accident.
Did you take some pleasure seeing Did you see the Crowded House concert last night? I think you were playing your own concert probably, but...
No, I did come back and have a bit of a look,
yeah. It's pretty amazing, isn't it?
Well, it's the songs, that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's the
There's
songs.
so many hits,
all those songs, and, Let You Blue and Great Southern Land, there is a timelessness to those songs from that era.
I think I was always really conscious to try to do things that wouldn't date. Even when it came to choosing, the certain synthesizer sounds, I remember hearing some, this particular synthesizer and going, you know what, in 10 years that's going to be really, it's going to be really on the nose. So
obviously, you never thought that way about the mullet, though.
Such an easy part.
You're a legend.
Well, tickets to Icehouse's 40 Years live tour are on sale now. For more info, head to the links page on our website. Would you please thank Iva Davies?
Thank you so much. We'll be right back after this break. You stay with us.